ShakeUP. Alex the Great in the building.
Yours truly, MJ.
All right, so we are just one day after we've had another case of a black man killer going free. Disturbing news. It just bothers me talking about it. Officer Michael Slager, who shot Walter Scott, after allegedly fleeing in the back, was acquitted for the second time by a jury after they deadlocked in North Charleston, South Carolina. So in a statement released Monday afternoon, Charleston County, South Carolina prosecutor Scarlett A. Wilson said that she will retry former South Carolina police officer Michael Slager, who's 35, for the murder of 50-year-old Walter Scott. Wilson released her statement soon after the jury deadlocked for the second time on whether or not the white police officer was guilty of shooting a fleeing unarmed man in the back, planting his taser by Scott's side, and then claiming that he was in fear for his life. Now, we talked about this previously. Slager said that he was in fear for his life. He knew he was in trouble when he saw the taser coming back at him. He said he knew that he was overpowered, but this was already, of course, proved to be a lie.
Right. That's
a
the
blatant
part
lie
that I didn't understand.
Due to cell phone video,
right, the
that
juror
recorded this incident,
who caused the hung trial, said that they couldn't sleep at night knowing that they prosecuted that officer. Okay, so even if you didn't believe that, in your head, some kind of way you believe that he was justified to shoot that man, you know, because it was proven, because he admitted it, that he planted that taser. So you didn't see any kind of foul play to where this man needed to be prosecuted.
So not only could you not sleep at night because you prosecuted an officer, was it the concept, or was it the fact that this man was indeed an officer, or was it the fact that you refused to watch the footage that captured not only that his story was false, but you ignored the facts, the blatant facts, that this taser was in fact planted?
That's ridiculous.
So frustrations are high in this, and I think justifiably so. How do we continue to explain this level of injustice to people that have questions? And I'm not just talking about like 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds, but MJ, there are 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds that are just now freshly stepping into adulthood and honestly have no idea how the facts don't matter. They can't really comprehend.
We can't explain this to them. We always come and we search and try to sit and have a discussion about this, but what can we explain to them?
Yeah, and yesterday
it's the same thing. It's the same matter of events that keep happening. We can't explain that to them. Like, unless we're going to take real action, we only can tell them, like, this is what it is. Honestly, unfortunately, it is what it is.
See,
like, this is what it is. This is what we have to live through. This is what black people have to deal with in America. So everybody is searching for these words to try to... This is what it is, because nobody wants to take real action. This is what it is.
What does real action look like?
You don't be wanting me to say it on air and stuff. So that's why I had just said that. I edited myself.
But from that standpoint, though...
this is what I was talking about. Case by case basis. In this case, oh yeah. He would have to go.
This is rooted in so much more than just our frustrations. I think when it comes down to it, this goes back to some of the same issues that we were dealing with in the election and the way that things are handled. And I'm going to try to parallel or try to make clear for some people why there are continued protests. And people on the other side don't like to look at it as protests. They think that we're rioting and destroying our communities. Unfortunately, the truth of the matter, anytime that there's unrest or civil unrest, change does not happen until things break, until things are destroyed, until the point is made. It's not about destroying our communities or burning down our gas stations. It's about making a statement that you're going to stop doing this. In fact, once we burn ours down, we're going to burn yours down.
Exactly. There are no real consequences. They don't have consequences behind their actions. So how are we explaining that to people? You can't. There are no consequences behind their actions. If there was, they would stop. So that's what I mean. Unless we're going to take real action, what are we going to sit and talk about?
Who, though? Who? You can't even, to be honest, I see you raising your hand, but to be honest, the people, less than 1% of people go protest. So you can't convince me, but you can't convince me that if less than 1% of people will protest something that they don't believe in or that they won't stand for, who the hell is going to take action for what they believe in? Maybe that's a problem with society. They want to sit back and wait for other people to do everything. Maybe that's part of the problem. You sit back and you let police officers raise your children and raise your community. Look what's going to happen.
Raise your children?
Listen, all of this, it takes a community. Yes, it takes your community, not your community plus police officers. You can remove them from every equation, in my opinion. Like, I had a conversation with somebody from my family the other day. They told me they were on the phone with a police officer trying to understand something, and I literally cussed them out. Literally,
trying to understand what?
Some charges or something. Like, what the? I could not understand why you're having this conversation. For what purpose? What are you trying to achieve?
So you don't think that there should be any conversations with the police?
I don't have anything to say.
I need to get some kind of understanding on what you were saying.
Yeah, I don't personally have anything to say at all. I don't have any reason to chat with you. If you happen to pull me over, I'm not speaking. I put a notepad in my car. Were you speeding? I will write it. I never spoke to him. I ordered this piece from Amazon that I'm gonna add to my car so that I can hit record when I need to for these scenarios. But I don't really. I feel like I've gotten pulled over once, like in the last 7 years, and I don't fear for my life like that. But when it comes to like. Again, and I'm not on the people like to say, well, you guys just portray all police officers as bad. No, they're all not bad.
But they don't have
the
signs
level of
on their
danger that
heads
is associated with them,
with the police, and they don't come with signs that say I'm the good one or I'm a bad one. And we don't know.
Even if they did,
so what are we supposed to do?
Even if they did,
how do we know that's true?
The statistics are stacked against my black ass.
Exactly,
completely stacked against my black ass. There's absolutely no reason for me to sit here and just
say, don't come with car
well,
facts.
You know what? I'm welcoming you.
They don't
I'm welcoming you with open arms because I'm not.
We don't have 12 facts. 12 facts. We don't know.
I don't know who you are. So from this guy, what's his name? Michael Slager. We can go down the list. Betty Shelby. She was in fear for her life too, right? Because we can go ahead. Let's go ahead and predict.
Okay, so
let's
go
ahead and predict.
That's been a pattern.
What's going to happen next? Betty Shelby. What's her name? Betty Shelby.
Whatever her name is.
When it's time for her to stand before the judge and they give her a little slap on the wrist, Betty, you're going to have to sit at the desk now.
That's been a pattern.
You killed a whole...
I felt felt threatened. So that's what saves them. They felt threatened. Because
so when
they
does that work
threatened.
for us? When can I say I felt like my life was in danger?
What about
because
in court?
maybe if we advise
In court, do you have to prove those type of things? Because
police officers don't. Now you do. Police officers don't. But maybe
you don't have to prove it.
I have an idea. I can start a social media campaign. Whenever you see blue lights, call 911. See, the thing is, they always say, oh, well, call 911 if you don't feel safe. If we all just start calling every time we see blue lights, I see blue lights behind me, so I'm going to need y'all to stay on the phone. The call centers would be occupied all the time. Emergencies would not get solved. Ambulances would not be delivered because people would be on the phone with black people because we get pulled over for driving while black. So if I call you, I call y'all every single time, and I advise all black people that I know, when you see blue lights, call the police. When you see them, call them.
Facts.
What would that do? Do you think that would make a difference? Do you think somebody would say, okay, all right?
I don't think that would stop them from what they're doing.
No, I don't.
They would probably go around and make some new kind of law. Like, you're going to get fined if you call.
Right.
They're going to fix some way around it. That's
more,
not going to
more oppression against us because we're trying to find a way to be safe.
Some new law and some new rule. Like, okay,
because
y'all keep calling and you're going to get fined.
Because we want to be safe.
You can't tell us that you're in imminent danger. Like, you don't know. It's just a police officer. Like, what were you doing to get pulled over? There's ways around that. Again,
they
have no consequences behind their
But
actions.
driving while black,
There's no way to explain this to the younger generation, to kids, to each other, to people. Like, we can sit here and talk about it's wrong as hell, but we can't explain it to each other.
There's more validity to. Did your mama ever say that she don't have to do nothing but stay black and die?
Yes.
That's never been realer than today.
Always.
You stay black, you might die.
Hey. I mean, my mom, I always say that. I ain't got to nothing but stay black and die.
Yeah, I think we all got that from them. # growing up black. That's part of it.
But again, there's no way to explain this to each other, to people.
Thing. It's a real, like, you can really, MJ, you will stay. You're going to stay black and die. Good luck.
That's what'll really happen. I want to see what comes of this, the results, like people's reaction.
Why?
If they're going to have like town hall, because I want to know like why they're doing it. I want to know. And when I ask these questions because everybody is going about how they think that change is going to come their own specific personal ways. So I'm not going to knock anybody. What I would ask them is, though, what change has come from the last time you went to protest? From the last time you had a meeting? From the last time you went and had a town hall? From the last time you went and talked to this person? From the last time you went and had a discussion? What's changed? What's different? If the answer is nothing, then what? Then what are we doing? How many more protest discussions? Town halls, what? Because there's no real consequences, so the same actions are going to keep on happening. So I really think that's why. This is exactly why I feel like my approach is a great solution. I don't want to sit around and wait for change to come. But hey.
Rashad Robinson, executive director of colorofchange.org, said that Walter Scott. Listen. He basically said, look, Scott's death just pissing me off, was a clear-cut case of unnecessary, fatal police violence. This is the second time in the last month that a jury deadlocked in the case of a police killer. Clearly, our criminal justice system is not working for black people when victims of police violence are effectively put on trial to prove their innocence rather than their killers. While we commend Solicitor Scarlett Wilson for pursuing a retrial, we will be demanding a vigorous prosecution of what should be a locked and shut case. Solicitor Wilson must send a clear message that a right-wing racist agenda has no place in the courtroom. Now, I thought that you would find this statement interesting from our new ambassador to the United Nations elect. South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley released the following statement after a mistrial was declared. It is my understanding that there will be, as quickly as possible, a new trial where the Scott family and all of South Carolina will hopefully receive the closure that a verdict brings. Justice is not always immediate, but we must all have faith that it will be served. I certainly do. I urge South Carolinians in Charleston and across our state to continue along the path we have walked these last 2 years, a path of grace, faith, love, and understanding. That is who we are, and I know we will continue to be. Now, some people are saying, in other words, she doesn't want black people to take to the streets and protest this verdict. In situations like these, the grace of black people is always prioritized over justice for black people. There's not a better way to say that. Black people, be graceful, be gracious, show grace, have mercy. You know, that's actually show grace, have mercy, walk humbly. That's a Bible verse. And I know so many of y'all go run to that Bible and you run to it, and that's your solace in these acts.
Did you see what the response his mother gave?
I did see her response. And listen, and I'm not even smashing running to the Bible, but there was also vengeance. And the Bible talks about vengeance being the Lord's. But there's repentance for those that take vengeance to their own hands.
Are you trying to say that to me?
I'm just saying.
Cause you said it, and then did you think about what you were saying as you were saying that? Cause
it's coming out of my mouth right now, cause that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think, like I said, I look at that book specifically as a collection of lessons and stories and experiences that happen in different communities and things like that. And so many people take it so literally. But then there are also people, like, I feel like you have to, when you throw a verse at me talking about just be peaceful so they can keep killing us, because I'm next. With the mouth that I have, I could definitely be on a hashtag. It could definitely happen. So I try to take all of that, and it's good, you know, when a Bible thumper comes at me with that, because I like to say things like, look, a true analysis. And that's why I feel like that's why people don't go to church no more, because people don't tell the truth. The preachers don't tell the truth.
You don't think they sit up there and just
they
tell
don't
lies?
They do lie.
Or they sugarcoat.
They be lying, or they make something up, or they try to tailor it to their personal agenda. But there was only one man. I'm going to use this example and then I'm going to move on because we got other stuff to do. But the Bible talks about David he's the only man that the Bible says was a man after God's own heart. Yeah, David was a king. He also killed Goliath. David was also a hoe and a murderer. And David prayed one of the most evil prayers I've ever read. Most of the most evil things you could ever say was his prayer. And sometimes I try to turn to that verse and wonder, should I pray this over the people that keep killing us? Because it's horrible. I'm not going to read it on air because it deserves an X rating. But if you ever get bored or you want to see something that nobody from the church ever showed you in the Bible, just turn to Psalms 109 and just read the whole book. And nothing's more vengeful.
Wow.
Let's have a prayer service to get this vengeance out of my heart. This is why this keeps happening, and on the other side, I feel like they empathize with us, white people, especially white people, it's just so bad what they're doing to y'all. But you don't feel it because they're not doing it to y'all. Like, you don't feel it. That's my issue. You don't feel it. You
Some
don't
of them
feel
think,
it.
yeah, it's bad. Some of them don't care. Some of them feel like that's what we deserve. All right.
How? How's that what we deserve?
Because we're black.
Okay, I'm done discussing this.
That reason alone.
There you have it, raw and uncut. It happens like that right here at the Shake Up. Check in with us. We got more music on the way and more of the Shake Up. 1-844-99-SHAKE.
1-844-997-4253 at the Shake Up AM on Instagram and Twitter. Keep it locked right here. You're listening to the Shake Up.
You're listening to the Shake Up, your number one